Hello again. Welcome to the Women's Broadcast Television Network Spotlight interview. We're excited today to bring you Paula McDade, and wait till I tell you a little bit about her. She is an amazing woman. Hello, Paula.
Hey there, Jayne. Good to meet you, finally.
Yeah, I know. I finally get to connect face to face.
Yes.
This is wonderful. Well, everyone, Paula has been working to empower women and girls for over a decade. She speaks life and imparts knowledge and shares her wisdom. After several years as an administrative professional in corporate America, she found a real passion in the education and nonprofit sector, where she began working with at-risk youth. So she's a featured writer in Connected Woman magazine. She has her own segment called One Day at a Time with Paula McDade. She also hosts a monthly online show called Equip, Empower, Energize. We're just so glad you're here today, Paula, and I'm going to let you tell a little bit more. Your bio is amazing, but I can sit here and read it, but hey, you're right here in person. So let's have you talk a little bit about, coming from corporate America,
Right.
like a lot of us have, and in the entrepreneurship, you had a passion.
Yes.
And you've been able to take that passion and make it happen.
Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about how all that took place.
Well, if I were to start at the beginning, which I won't give you all the boring details, but I was one of those people that followed my mother's advice. And it was very simple. She said, learn how to type and you will always have a job, which was true. It was true. And for my early life, that fit well for me because I was able to provide for my children. I was a single mom for many years. And I was able to, work as an administrative assistant and a secretary and, those types of jobs to provide a living. But I was somewhat miserable in that field because I felt like my talents were not being used to the fullest. I knew I had several creative gifts, and I'm also a communicator. That's what I love to do. I love to write. I love to speak. And those gifts just weren't being used. I also figured out that because my children were growing up and they were at certain age levels, that I could relate really well to young people. So like it says in my bio, I did start working with at-risk youth in the school system. I started my own program called Aim for Success to mentor teen girls. And so that's how I got started in that arena, sort of the education/nonprofit.
Wow, and giving back. And when you give back, you get,
Absolutely.
And all of us don't start giving back just to get, but it just happens.
It just happens.
It's a wonderful thing. God is amazing. And I'm glad you're part of our Spirit-Fed channel because there's a lot of people, looking at this and how can I take my passion and my heart and listen to God and create a business? And you can.
Absolutely. And what I did was I just asked questions of people that were already doing that type of work, how they got started, what programs did they use to form their nonprofit side, because that's a whole different animal. And what I figured out was that I wanted to do the work, but I wasn't so excited about running a full-blown nonprofit. So I came underneath the umbrella of an organization that's what they specialize. They take people that have a passion to do nonprofit work, and they provide that nonprofit oversight for them. And all of the administrative side, the paperwork, the filing, the tax stuff, you don't worry about that. You just report to this organization and they take care of all that for you. So I was able to form Aim for Success under their umbrella and their oversight and do the work that I was so passionate about. So that was the good part for me.
That's amazing. God found a way.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. So tell us more about your program.
Well, Aim for Success is no longer doing the mentoring. We've kind of transitioned. I figured out that as I've gone through the different phases of my life, I have also grown and transitioned into different areas. So where I was doing a lot of mentoring with teen girls and working with young people, I sort of transitioned into actually mentoring young adult women.
Wonderful.
And so now I get that millennial age group where they're like between maybe 20-ish and maybe 35. And they come to me. I don't have to advertise. I don't have to put it out there that I'm a mentor, but that is just the age group that tends to relate with me and want my advice and my support. And so I'm able to be a mentor in that way. And that feels really good for me.
Oh, that's wonderful. So tell us a bit about your business now and what you're doing.
So I'm a graphic designer. That was another one of the creative gifts that was sort of squashed
Nice.
underneath that
That's definitely a
administrative.
gift.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm a graphic designer. I have a company called Stellar Creative, and I do everything from flyers to websites to business cards. I mean, you name it. I've designed for large and small companies and even micro businesses where it's just one person, kind of self-employed, and that maybe they need some marketing materials. So I've done that, and I'm still working, freelance with that company, Stellar Creative. And then I also am a speaker and an author. So I speak all across the country to groups of women and at conferences and different types of events. But I also have written a book. It's called The Captured and Crowned Devotional. And so
Nice.
that was my very first book, and it's a devotional. It's a 30 days. So it's an easy read. It's a short read. You don't have to take a long time, with it, but it's just something that God placed in my heart. And then I have co-authored a book called Igniting the Fire, for women in business, ministry, and life. So that was a good experience for me. It's 20 women telling their stories of how they have overcome adversity and now been able to, be powerful in business and ministry. So
That's neat. We have the Spirit Fed books.
yeah,
And Spirit Fed Entrepreneur, you probably have seen them. And came to my heart, just like probably the compiler of that book as well. There's so many of us that have listened to God, listened to our heart, taken our passion, and really made a difference in the world and people's lives.
yeah,
And it's risky, but you know what? It's all about listening. And if you're a Christian, you're protected. So
yes,
if God has directed you to do something, I always tell people, don't be fearful.
yeah.
I mean, He
Just
created the earth. He can help you get a book out.
That's right. That's right. And the thing about it is we all have fear. That's pretty normal. The thing is, though, just being able to push through and do it afraid, even when you have that
Oh, I
sort of,
love that.
oh, I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I'm good enough. We all have those doubts, and that's
Yeah.
not uncommon. But the thing is that when we know that God is there with us, supporting us and pushing us through, we can do whatever it is that He lays on our heart. So,
Amen, sister.
yeah.
What are some of the scriptures that have helped you in your trying times of business?
Jeremiah 29:11 is just my signature scripture. I use that for everything. And God says, I know the plans that I have for you, plans for good and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope. And, that has just stuck with me throughout even my young adult years when I was going through a lot of the struggles that I went through. And just to give you a little of my backstory, I don't want to tell you the whole thing, but as a child, I was sexually abused.
Oh,
And so that, what that foundation of coming from abuse and just not feeling real good about myself really provided some fertile ground for me to get involved with some unhealthy relationships and unhealthy behaviors such as drinking and, things like that. And so for God to have taken that little, messed up young woman and transformed her into now a businesswoman who is respected, someone who has also been nominated for Survivor of the Year. And I'll be going down to Houston this weekend to possibly receive the award. I don't know if I won yet, but I'll be going to attend that. And, it's just amazing to hear God really bring Jeremiah 29:11 to life. It's not just a scripture, it is life.
Wow. Is that the sex exploitation conference?
No, this one is called Voice Your Invisible Wounds, and it's by an organization called Survivors with Voices. Their whole focus is people that have come through sexual assault or sexual abuse and been able to survive and even thrive in their lives. So that's the conference.
Wow. Well, man, I hope you win. That would be great. And we'll have
Yeah.
you back on. You can tell us all about it. That's, there's a lot of us and a lot of people out there that have had situations that never did come out of it.
Right.
And,
right. Exactly.
And what are a couple things that you could tell them that might encourage them to come out of it or to help them get through that?
What I found is that God can't heal what you're not willing to reveal. And
Wow, that's powerful.
as long as we stay in denial about it, or we want to hide from it and not admit what happened to us or not admit the struggles that we've had, God can't fully heal us from that. And it's coming out of that denial. Yes, it's a scary place, but when you come out of that and you admit to him, God, this was horrible. This happened to me, or, I went through this struggle. First of all, he already knows, so you're not going to shock or surprise him. And second of all, he's got all your answers. Not only does he's got healing, he's got deliverance, he's got peace on the other side of your admitting. So, and there's a whole community of people out there that have gone through similar struggles. You're not by yourself. So that's what I would encourage people to do. There's support systems, support groups. I'm part of one called Celebrate Recovery for people that have been through different types of struggles, not just sexual abuse, but through alcoholism, drug abuse,
emotional abuse,
because that was a part of my testimony as well with the sexual abuse. So, coming out of that, you need a support system. And I just encourage people to reach out and get the help they need.
Well, that's beautiful. And, speaking up is such a big part of it. If you don't speak up, no one knows.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. And I have to feel like most of us, especially entrepreneur women that I'm around and you're around, we want to help. We want to do whatever we can to lift you up, to help you. Yeah. But if you're always smiling and always saying everything's great, then we can't help.
Yeah.
And so what a beautiful, I love that. Say that again. You have to heal.
God cannot heal what you're not willing to reveal.
That is beautiful. That should be a book in itself.
Yeah, it should.
Write that down for yourself.
It's actually a signature saying of mine. So, I have it ingrained in my
it just popped out.
Yeah.
So where do you speak, and what kind of groups can find you if they want to hire you? What do you speak on?
I focus a lot, of course, on coming out of adversity, conquering fear. If you're looking for a speaker on those types of topics that is motivational, inspirational, someone who may be trying to break into business or break into some type of, next career level, but you're fighting with that. You're fighting with your past, you're fighting with fear, you're unsure, you're uncertain, you're insecure about that. I can talk very clearly about all of those topics. So I will speak at everything from a women's group to a conference, even corporate events. And a lot of people would think, well, that story doesn't fit, but I can guarantee you in corporate America, you've got professionals who are sitting behind those desks with advanced degrees, but they've got issues going on that they're not telling anybody about. And it's hindering their work performance. It's causing them not to be the best employee they could be. They may even have hidden substance abuse issues that they're keeping away from work because they can hide it real well. But I understand what that's like, and I can speak to those audiences.
Wow, that's beautiful. And how do they find you?
Well, anybody can find me on my website, and it's pretty simple. It's myname.com. So paulamcdade.com is where you would go to find out about all my speaking topics and just find out more about me and the ministry.
And we'll have your URL on the bottom too, and how to spell your name. And I guess they could also find you on Facebook, connect with you.
Oh yeah, definitely. All of my social media handles are Paula McDade without the dot. So if you go to paulamcdade.com, you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, any of those social media sites.
Oh, that's fantastic. So we always leave kind of with a couple things. Like one, my favorite is, how do you mix like work, business, family, play? What is your secret to life balance?
So what I found is that balance is it's almost an illusion, okay? Because you're never going to get just that perfect mix of all of the above. There will be seasons in your life where like right now, I'm really working hard on the business side. And I can do that because I don't have small children at home. My children are young adults. They're out on their own. I don't necessarily have the obligation of small children at home. So you just really have to pay attention to the seasons in your life. And if you need to work more during those seasons, make sure that you enlist the support of your family because they need to know what's going on, and my family does understand that this is a time of sowing, got to get in there and plant those seeds. And then the harvest will be on the other end when God blesses financially and we can take family vacations and do the fun things that we want to do.
I love that because it is in seasons, right? I mean, before you had kids, you were rocking in the corporate world. You had kids, you're like, oh, better settle down. Now the kids are getting older, you're kind of getting back. So, don't beat yourself up, right? If you're not
Sure.
balancing. And so, what do you do for fun?
For fun, I love movies. My husband and I are both huge movie buffs. And then
Nice.
we also love to travel. Travel is like that thing that once we retire for good, that's going to be on the top of our list. It's just travel the country, travel the world, and just really see the sight.
Oh, I love it. Well, I really appreciate you coming on today. I know you've helped a lot of people, and you see Paula's information below. I'd love for you to reach out to her. And anything else, Paula, you'd like to say to the audience?
Well, I just want to thank you for the opportunity, and I love your network. And I just encourage anyone that's out there watching to please connect with Women's Net TV and make sure that you tell all your friends about it, because it is really making a difference in broadcasting. And I appreciate this so much.
Oh, we're so glad to have you, Paula. And we'll have you back on, too. Good luck with your awards this weekend.
Thank you, Jayne.
And thank you for all your service to women.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you for watching Women's Broadcast TV and our Spotlight Expert. We'll see you next time.